Right. Mm. Um, Hello. All right. All right. I am live. If you're watching live, comment live. If you're watching the replay, comment replay. I I am super excited because this is the first time also that I am going live with um going live with Substack. I'm hoping it works. I hope it works. Let's see if it works. All right, y'all. How's everybody doing? Um, this is very, very interesting. Very interesting. As you can see with the title, corporations are having a hard time with these AI pieces. If you're watching live, comment live. If you're watching the replay, comment replay. I'm Coach Jay. And what I do is that I work with women with their self concept and helping them with transitioning their expertise, their skill sets into content led educational ecosystems. This is very important as we are nearing or going into deepening into the age of AI. But what we're also seeing on the flip side, right, is that we're seeing a growing number of corporations. Um, I'm telling you, these corporations, they're losing steam. They're losing steam with this AI piece. And I'm going to talk about some of the statistics and the data that I saw. And then also talking about why is it so important for people to look at the opportunities that could be rising up from this. Um, because that's what my clients, I'm getting people ready for 2026. Like this is really where it's at. That's really where my heart is right now. I'm telling you, this is it. This is it. Let me get this data up. If you're watching live, comment live. If you're watching the replay, comment replay. Let's see. So let's just go right into it. Let's just go right into it. Now, the data that I have is, let me pull it up so that we're all on the same page. Everybody's on the same page. When I saw this, and I've always kind of knew that something was going on that was like, it was just too much panic, too much of a rush, too much trying to hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. Right. And I know that, AI, I have concerns about it, but I am not anti AI. Like I'm very open to innovation. I'm very open to, newness and all kinds of things. Hey, Christina, you see where I'm live, girl? It's my first time on Substack live, so we're gonna see what happens. Um, so I'm just trying to let's see what we can do. So let me just bring up some statistics here because I really want to bring some. Hey, Huntress. Hey. Yeah, yes, y'all. Welcome, welcome, welcome. YouTube, welcome. So I want to, like I said, I want to bring up some statistics, and that's why I said I know that something's off here because why in the world are we starting to see corporations not get a return. Now, granted, I do understand that the dip, right? There's a dip in the expectation because when you are trying to implement a new innovation into a company, right? There has to be time for it to catch. There has to be time for it to catch, time for it to produce. But when I give y'all this data, you're gonna be like, what? And I just shared this on TikTok, and people were like, wow, like I never knew. Let me go into it. Let me just go into it. Number one, an MIT study tracked 300 enterprise AI deployments and found that a staggering 95% of generative AI pilot programs fail to yield tangible business results. Tangible business results, right? So to be someone just going into a business and saying, oh, we can do this and we can do that and we can, I can show you a graph. And I used to work at Christina, I'm so glad when we all had the conversation on our contrarian call where we talked about these things and we talked about how it was just off. A lot of these companies are not getting the results and no one is talking about it. Everybody's quiet about that, which is very interesting to me. I don't see a lot of the tech bros talking about that, but I'm starting to see more videos where they are discussing how the panic has been very exaggerated. And I know that there is a reason behind that, but which we'll get to in a minute. Here's another statistic by techradar.com. It says that only 5% of AI tools scale successfully. So U.S. companies invested $35 to $40 billion in generative AI, yet only 5% of these tools were effectively deployed at scale, signaling a massive shortfall in execution and sustainability. Hold on. Now, 42% of these companies scraped AI initiatives in 2025. So they got rid of it completely. Like 42% of companies that brought on some of these tech gurus and these tech companies and these startups to say, hey, we can do this, we can build this for you, we can build that for you. And it was just amazing to me how they were willingly throwing money at these bros. You hear I'm calling them. They're willingly throwing money at these bros. And I'm so, this is why you got to have critical thinking skills. Because I was sitting there and I said to myself, why am I always hearing this is what you can do to automate this, that, and the third, and automate, this AI tool and this? And I'm like, why are they doing so many multiple AI tools to push this and da 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 da? And I started thinking to myself, why you got to do all that? And then, of course, I started thinking about the patriarchy, as we talked about. The patriarchy loves to create problems. And they like to make it complex when it's really easy. And ease, see, the thing is, this is so good. The thing is that we think that easy should cost less. Let me go turn this light on before I run already. I'm not even. Woo! Let me turn this light on. Because I've already got myself excited. We think that right there ought to just make you leap for joy, because complexity keeps us in need mode. Hold on. Let me help you with this. Because this is, and I know that people ask, and I have to bring this up because I've never been able to explain myself when it regards to groups. Like I had a group coaching program for years. And one of the things that used to mess with me sometimes about group programs is and I'm not saying all my clients went through this, because one of the things that I believe in is a client becoming dependent on themselves and not the coach. You understand? Y'all hear me? I don't like dependency. I want my client to be self-sufficient, to be able to think on her own. So in my programs, when I had the matriarch, when I had SGA, I encouraged my clients to be able to think. The only time that I would open up re-enrollment and I would just naturally offer that, I would just say, if you would like to stay, here's the, you can come on in, and I would allow them to make that decision. If they didn't feel like they needed it, I didn't press it. But I always opened the door for them to return if they need it. I did not push people to come back and to come back. And it was sometimes in my programs where I was looking at clients and I said, I don't think this person really need to come back right now. They need to work on this. And I would tell them, I love you, but I really want you to work on this before you come back. And people used to be like, why are you telling me they could have came back then? Maybe no. At the level where this person was, I want them to work on this before they return. And clients used and I didn't have a lot of clients like this, but the ones that I did reach out to and talk to them, it wasn't like, oh, I'm telling them what they're not ready for. I'm telling them no, it's like, I want you to get to a place where you trust yourself really. And then we come back and we do this again. But I want you to feel confident in yourself, because coaching we got to get it on, right? Okay. But when you make things complex, when you make it hard, you invoke this dependency. So these people have to need you, even if they really don't need you. Because I believe in this. When I release a client, I'm giving them everything they need to go and be great on their own. Here go the tools. Here are your directives. Here are your steps. Here are your workflows. Here are some resources. Here is this and the third. And I'm gonna give you a couple of bonuses to keep to move you on your way. That way you can go and do some self-study and empower yourself and then move forward on what you need. But I'm not going to hold on. I'm not going to hold on. So I think it's very interesting that we have this AI piece where these people are paying these tech startups all this money for what? To learn as they go. Due to, and I'm not hating. Like I said, I'm not hating. I think, everybody got to get what they're going to get. Everybody got to get what they want to get. I don't have do what you want to do. However, I think it's very interesting that I'm giving you all these millions of dollars and there is no return. There is nothing happening. I don't see process. I don't see things moving, right? And the return or the tangibles that I'm expecting, I'm not seeing. There's a prolonged result. So simplicity, I really believe that the more simple you can get things so that you can have a speedy return, that's what I actually believe in. You simplify things and you put them into a process that it gets you to your goal faster, as opposed to putting additional steps in between the starting point and the conversion. That's just in my humble opinion. Now, let's go back to the stats. Okay. 88% of AI pilot programs never make it to implementation or the production process. So this is Beam AI. 88% of AI prototypes remain stuck in pilot mode, which I think is also very interesting. For every 8 AI experiment, only one makes it live. Y'all, this is really something to me. This is really something. A tech radar report points out that despite large investments, just 13% of companies report tangible enterprise level impact from generative AI deployments. Listen. So what is this saying? What Jay, what's your point? So why was it such a rush? Why was it such a rush to lay off a lot of people? Okay, and this is coming from an entrepreneur, right? I've learned. I was on ChatGPT as soon as it rolled out, around one of the first ones. Kendra said, I'm finding all this interesting. I'm telling you, we're doing the absolute most. They're doing the absolute most. And see, nobody is really talking about this because we're focused more on the AI and hurry up, and people are going to be just wait. We don't have, and I thought this way, and I said to myself, this is almost kind of like 2020, 2021. It's just why the rush? Let's learn how to work this thing, because everybody learning at the same time. Everybody in the world is learning the same skill, and it's really something that everybody's doing at the same time. I think it's very interesting that we're all on a global level, which I think is absolutely astounding to me, that the whole world is experiencing this together, just like we did 5 years ago. Everybody went through the same thing, this whole change 5 years ago. So we'll always remember 2024, 2025 will be another stepping point or another moment in history where everybody is learning about the AI boom. So it's very comparable to the .com era. So why the rush to replace humans? Okay. We already know that the first thing is first is that, labor, human capital, okay, is a company's biggest expense. Me being an entrepreneur and have had a team before, having payroll and all of that, yes, especially when you want to pay for good skills. I didn't believe in, I've hired people that were very entry level or international overseas, and you could pay them lower wages because of the what is it called, of the value of the dollar at that particular time. But then you get to a place where you start to scale, and then you're like, okay, I need some more sophisticated talent that can handle some of the things that we need, and not I'm asleep, but that person is up on the other side of the world. Now I need somebody that's going to be up when I'm up. So that was my issue, right? So then I brought on people, like I had an assistant coach, I had other people in, I had a coordinator for my coach program. Then I brought on an executive coach. I had sales teams. I had all kinds of stuff, right? And then I sometimes hire in and out when I need special projects done. I will outsource that and have people to kind of work on my templates and kind of putting things in perspective with me, for me. But human capital is the most expensive, right? However, boards and shareholders will push leadership to cut costs because they want to make a massive profit. Even if it means, this is good right here, even if it means to recklessly experiment. Did you hear what I said? To experiment with AI. So this is also, kind of come to the whole imposter syndrome conversations, because some of y'all, you're scared to put yourself out there because you feel like you don't know enough. I told people that all you need is the audacity. This was even a learning moment for me too, because I'm like, these people didn't even know how to put, like, even though yes, they may have had tech experience and coding experience and stuff like that. Even me, I have some tech experience and I know how to put like workflows and things like that together. But I'm really looking at it from a standpoint like, and I'm not against men. They just have the audacity. Where women, we're just like, oh, but I don't want to, I want to make sure it's good. I want to make sure that the customer service is there. I want to make sure that we can deliver We're thinking about all these things. And I'm not saying to go out there and just frivolously, sell people on these things. Because I'm going to tell you this, what I think is about to start happening. Two things. Number one, bailouts probably going to start happening with these corporations. And then number two, it's going to be a lot of lawsuits on the table because these companies are going to go after some of these tech startups that's playing with them. Because they don't like playing with their money unless they're going to escape and go to Panama and Bali. And be 404 not found, like I said in my stories, right? Also, competitive panic, right? So competitive panic, telling people that they're going to be left behind, right? And you understand, like once competitors, this whole AI adoption thing, others scramble to keep up. So you have a lot of companies that's like, okay, let's do it. Let's put AI, let's get it in here. We want to automate. So you're selling people on an ideal. And Quenisha, this is gonna bless you. The whole conversation centered around data. The fear of falling behind is something that you're trying to sell people on, and that's not a strategy. Their own systems are not even ready and capable of bringing on some of this stuff. They don't even have their stuff together. So you're laying off your capital and your value. You're laying off people before you even understand what you're doing. Because you're that anti-human that you're willing to push out the very people out of your work, out of your corporate centers and out of the corporate office because, we're just gonna, we need to go ahead and influence AI. But you didn't even get everything together first. So here we go. Investors reward companies that signal they are AI first, which really pushes people and executives to deploy AI initiatives to boost valuation, even if the ROI is not really there. And I think that this is really just that part where we have to pull the reins back, especially on our nervous systems, because a lot of people got displaced just because of that, like just because of AI initiatives. And we're going to implement AI, and AI is coming for your jobs. They may be coming for jobs, but they're going to call a lot of people back. Because when you do wrong will follow you. That's my granddaddy used to say. My granddaddy, rest in peace, may he rest in peace, baby. He used to say that. He used to say, when you do wrong follow you. And I'm not saying, but you're gonna have to hire these people back. Just like goodness, was it a firm? Was it Afterpay? Which one of those places that got rid of all these people and said they were going to do it all and like themselves? They were going to do 100% AI. I forgot which company that was, and it's in the back of my head, and I can't even. Was it Afterpay or a firm? Something's telling me it was a firm. I forgot which one it is. But anyway, they had to hire all these people back. I'm really trying to figure out which one it was. Anyway, short-term thinking, corporations are now almost like they used to operate, they have a strategic vision. They have a strategic vision or strategic plan, if you will. And then you would have like this tactical piece where you would break it up fiscal year by fiscal year. And now it was a firm. Thank you, Kendra. Thank you. It was a firm. But now it's operating quarter by quarter. So you don't even know what's happening next quarter because you're operating. So our quote unquote paycheck to paycheck in the corporate sense, entrepreneurs, is client to client. And then you have corporations now that it's operated by quarter to quarter. So everybody's winging it right now. That's why I say don't feel bad for trying different things because everybody winging it. You'll be surprised at how many people are just simply coming up with things and just operating by that and just seeing what happens, seeing what they can push things out and try. So short-term thinking is really, really coming out, and they want immediate productivity gains, not the long-term payoff. So it's almost like they don't have time to always train humans to adapt alongside AI. It's almost like one or the other. Like, no, we have to, because it's cost associated with that. So you're doubling the cost of having your human employees sit there and to learn something that's being implemented outside. Narrative of placement is the very last one, if you will. So the hype cycle, the hype of it, the hype cycle frames AI is replacing workers. And we already know, like I said, corporations are dead set on pushing, like, hey, yes, they're expensive. Let's get AI agents in here. If they're going to do this and do this and do, you got to hold on. Humans are always the bottleneck. So it's like culturally, executives are buying into that myth that humans and employees are their bottleneck. It's their issue. So here we go. The data, the workflows, all of these things is very questionable when you are trying to work with some of these corporations. Half of them don't even know where stuff is because everything is so sloppy and everybody's scraping. Everybody's trying to find the money and try to get venture capitalist dollars and investment dollars, and trying to boost up the revenue, boost up profitability so that they can. It's really interesting. It's really interesting. Automations are fine. There's nothing wrong with automations. But if you're going to make automations super complex, that's the part that this boggles me. Oh, Christina said the data all lives on Bob's laptop in a spreadsheet that's been held up from 1999 because he'd been there for so long. And that is so true. But you didn't lay Bob off and Bob is gone and you don't even know where all the data is because it's on his spreadsheet that he took home and deleted off the computer some kind of way. And now you don't know what Bob did. So now you mad because you trying to call Bob back and say, Bob, we on your computer. And Bob is saying, y'all can get on. You just laid me off. Are you kidding me? So now you got to fight all that. And because you don't protect your teams, you don't protect your people, they ain't worried about helping you. They're not worried about helping you. I said that this, you know what? That is bothering me because this sunlight. But anyway, this is what I'm trying to tell you. There is always, I'm going to help you here. There is always opportunity. Even though the messed up part of this is that there's a lot of cleanup work that has to be done, which is really unfortunate, right? Because, people jack stuff up in the name of trying to be first. And I said, I would rather be excellent at what I do rather than trying to be first. But we will always remember that the first always gets the gander. Like they always get, what is it, the goose and the gander? The first always going to get the best. They're going to always get the most. It's the ones after that's going to fall after they may do it right, but you're not going to have the trust, unfortunately. But I will say this, the ones that come after will be the ones that will be referred the most. So even though you may take less afterwards, you may have repeat business, and you also may have the opportunity to do some additional projects with that person because you deemed yourself, what is it called? You deemed yourself valuable and patient enough to clean up the process. Make sense? So I want you to think about that as you are creating your processes because a lot of this stuff has a lot to do with how you're planning out the opportunities. So one of the things too, my client, and I'm mentioning this, and I'm jumping back onto the point. Like even my client, a couple of clients I've had, $250,000 contract, and because I used to deal with companies and I understood the RFP process and all this stuff, and then having some level of an offer that's able to address the need of the company. Because the thing is that companies think they know what they want and what they need help with, and sometimes it's not what they need. You go 3 layers deep with them too. And sometimes they're thinking like, oh, well, we really need this. And it's really like, and then when you start doing the diagnostic work, breaking things down, you'll realize that a lot of that's not what they want. They really need X, Y, and Z. So it's like you're walking it backwards. So a lot of these companies have it to where, and it's something that they've heard, it's something that they've listened to somebody else say, or a colleague, this is what we need too. So they're really trying to get it out of what they think they need, right? And so as the expert, you really just have to do the diagnostic work and bring out exactly what they need, because sometimes it's what's before what they need is really what they need. Okay. And they need to tighten up that process and bring it to center in so many ways so that they can move flawlessly in a certain process. So much of that is cleanup, and then a lot of that cleanup, walk it back, and then moving forward. Help them to find some of those pieces so that you can just support them in moving forward in the project. Also, too, with the client, helping her with coming up with a strategic plan to present to these people, and then having the wherewithal, like where to exactly pinpoint. And that's what I'm trying to tell you, is that much of your business, when you're looking for big opportunities like that, you've got to start looking at the opportunities from a bird eye level. Like, how am I positioning my business to actually win? How am I positioning my business to actually get it? So she had to have business insurance. So if you don't have business insurance, please get it, especially if you're trying to, do business with corporations. Please get it. If you need a link, I do have someone or a business that does business insurance that Ellison has, and I can send you the link to that. But to be honest, like, you really just need to get your ducks in a row, because these corporations, many of them do require you to have some business insurance, at least $1 million, at least. But these are some opportunities to kind of play with and get you and just get some. Yep, she said, I had a prospect. Are you insured? I said yes, and just gotten it the days before. I love that. And she said, did we look? I'm here. One of my leads was requiring me to have that. Yes, Quenisha. Yeah, you have to have business insurance. I think that's one of the biggest things. You have to have that. Because if something happens, you need to be able to have the funds, to just in case something happened, right? One more thing, and I'll leave. So that's one of the biggest reasons why it's so important to, even though, yes, I was on a kick too, and then I started to be like, wait a minute, let me pull back, because I'm not seeing anybody talk about results. And that was one of the things that I felt like when I heard all these AI pieces and all these tech bros putting out what they were doing and putting out. And I said, but I don't hear anybody talking about how much time we saved this company or what we did with this company. I just heard, this is what we're doing. This is what we implemented. This is what we're doing. And I'm like, okay, let me show you how. Let me show you how. Everything was showing you how, but nobody's showing me what happened after the fact, because I don't care about a process and 17,000 AI apps that you put together in make.com or this company in order to put together an app. Tell me what happened after, because that's what's going to matter, right? That's what I thought. Because you're supposed to talk about your results. You're supposed to talk about your what companies are getting as a result of using you. But when I didn't hear anything of substance, and I said, let me do some investigating, and it turns out that people were catching on. People were catching on. So I do have one spot for a what we call the global build. And this is 90 days with me, and we're working out your offer, and I'm targeting helping you find clients. This is one of my most intense offers. You're getting clients. I have clients that have had one client that went from $15,000 to $60,000 months recently. Had one client that went from 0 to 100,000 in less than 6 months. Like, this is the season, because you got to set yourself up for 2026. And some of y'all need to accelerate. I'm just saying, not pushing anybody to do anything, but you need to think about this. And if you have questions about it, send me a message. I am answering questions tonight. I'm working on a couple of deliverables for some clients that worked with me in a mapping session, which was so good. I had one today. She was like, Coach, this was absolutely perfect. She said, I'm so excited. I'm so happy. So this is what I'm talking about. We got to get ready for the new year. We got to get ready for the new year. But the 10K global build is where I'm actually helping you pinpoint clients and where to look, giving you leads. Like, I'm not selfish. I'm not holding back. I got like I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to put this together. That's all right, because I got you, honey. Here goes I used to do that with my clients that hire me one-on-one. Honey, I didn't put out a spreadsheet for you. Here you go. You need to, let's get these emails out and let's get these people on your calendar so we can close some deals, period. Okay. So anyway, that's what I have. That's what we're moving towards, because we got to get ready for the new year. We got to get ready. So if you have any questions, send me a note. You can send me a DM on Facebook. You send me an email, and we got to get it crack-a-lacking, as they say, crack-a-lacking. That's what if my daughter heard me say this, she'd be like, Mommy, please don't say that again. But anyway, y'all have a great night. And we'll talk to you soon. I'll talk to you soon. All right. Bye, YouTube. My first time being live on Substack.